Hello, I'm Terry David Mulligan. This is the Mulligan Stew Podcast, a very special edition. It's special because, first of all, if you're Canadian, you know what the Juno Awards are. They are our version of the Grammys, for those of you who live in the States or understand Grammy language, Grammy speak. And a lot of pride involved, a lot of country pride, a lot of genre pride, a lot of personal relationships. Many of these artists get to sort of pass each other on the highways, backstage. They leave notes in concert halls for each other. And finally, one day a year, or 1 week a year, or one weekend a year, they get together. They're all in the same place at the same time, and they hang and they exchange stories and renew their friendships. So one of the things that I have always liked about the Junos in Alberta for CKUA, of course it's heard province-wide in CKUA, is to just put those people together on a couple of couches with 5 or 6 microphones and hope they all don't show up at the same time and you won't have room. But it's happened on a couple of occasions. There have been 3 Juno Couches. The first one was in the lobby bar at the Hotel MacDonald in Edmonton. It was great fun. I don't know how we pulled it off, but we did. The next one was in Calgary at the bottom of the Calgary Tower in a restaurant, I think. The third one was on the streets of Calgary outside of a Milestones. And that one was rocking. That was incredible. That was the Buffy session. And the one we just did was in Edmonton, and it was at the CKUA performance area in the building, the Edmonton Hotel. It's a gorgeous old hotel, right directly across the street from the Shaw Conference Center where the Junos were being held. I thought that's the great coming together of location and people. And so invites were sent out. A lot of people said, we'd love to be there, but we're doing like songwriter circles. We're doing other interviews. We're half a city away. But the ones that did have time and came forward, there were 2 of them, in fact. You need a co-host. You need someone to speak the language. Dan Mangan was the first. The second one was Tom Wilson from Blackie and the Rodeo Kings. I'm great friends with both of them, and I try to stay in touch with them as often as I can without stalking them. Also, the artists either nominated or had won a Juno were Angelique Francis, Diggin' Roots, Sean Hall from The Harpoonist and the Axe Murderer, comedian John Doerr, Shakira Saida, Weather Station, the wonderful Mark Jordan and Amy Skye, and the CKUA hosts who joined me on the couch, Holger Peterson, Kate Stevens, Merrick Tyler, Cam Hayden, and Kerry Clark. Somewhere close by was Darcy Whiteside, but I didn't get to see him. And some of them performed, some did not. I mean, it's only what they feel comfortable doing. That's it. And so the show was, in fact, 2 hours long, exactly, produced by Vishkana. So I've put together the conversations into a package that's almost an hour long. Here's the conversations with Dan Mangan, Angelique Francis, Diggin' Roots, Sean Hall, John Doerr, Shakira Saida, The Weather Station, Mark Jordan, Amy Skye, Tom Wilson, and the original co-host of the first 3 Juno Couches, Jim Cuddy, who was at the Oilers rink just right a couple of blocks away, playing in the Juno Cup. It's musicians up against retired hockey players and coaches and people who hang around hockey. And we had some technical issues with Jim's signal, but you get a sense of what he's trying to say. And he was raising funds for Music Cares. As always, he's always doing something good for the people around him. So thank you, Jim Cuddy. This is the Juno Couch, Year 4 from CKUA in Edmonton. Hello, everybody. Hello, crew. Hello, listeners, viewers. Thank you for doing this. First of all, I came to you both individually and said, would you sit on the couch for a couple of hours and just talk to people and do my job for me?
I said I would only do it if Tom was here.
Have you recovered from last night?
I've recovered. I'm concerned, Terry, that there's cameras because I'm going to have, we're 2 hours doing this. Yeah. I'm going to have to hold my stomach in for 2 hours, Terry. Very concerned.
We have a stomach filter. Comes with me.
Good. I'd like that 24 hours a day.
And how was your last night, Dan?
It was beautiful. It was a wonderful night. Really nice to be back and dressing up and going out and doing things and getting away from my kids, and it's great.
And for the both of you, do you have friends on this stage today?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, lots of them.
Sure.
At least I consider them my friends. I don't know what they think about me.
I'm sure they do. And Dan?
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of people, festival workshop stages, you kind of cross-pollinate with a lot of these bands.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is way too quiet for me. I like the glasses.
Oh, thank you. This is, I'm almost turning 40 this year. So, I was at Science World with my kids in Vancouver, and there was a menu on the wall.
Yeah, you could read it.
And my wife's like, I think it's time.
So what I need to know in previous performances, was it the audience you couldn't see or the fret?
Yeah, it was. I was closing my eyes because I had to write the lyrics on the inside of my eyelids.
Grant, would you be so kind as to introduce our next guest?
We got Angelique coming up next.
I believe she's coming up now.
I'm so excited. I was in the building when Angelique won some hardware last night, which is such a thrill. We're going to ask you to please welcome the great Angelique Francis, this amazing artist from the Ottawa area. Picked herself up 2 Maple Blues Awards, and last night won Blues Album of the Year at the darn 2023 Juno Awards, just across the street here. Amazing. Please give it up for Angelique Francis, ladies and gentlemen.
On your right, looking at your stage, you've got a 2-person horn section over here, the guitar, a horn over here, a drummer in the back, which is your dad.
Yes, that's right.
The horn section, the ladies to your right, our left, are your sisters?
Yes, that's right.
Wow. And you're writing with your dad, who's on the back, who's doing the beat. Is there a keyboard player in the band?
Yeah, so our band comes in many different iterations.
Yes.
And, it's 4 to 6 to sometimes 10. When we play with a 6-piece, our trumpetist, Ed Lister, also plays keys as well. But Kira, who plays trombone, my little sister, also plays keys.
There you go. And was it your father, or your household, where you heard the music that influenced you? So it's kind of come full circle for him and you. The music you grew up on, you're sort of cresting that wave.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah, definitely. I grew up listening to a lot of amazing music around the house, and I'm just so glad that people have really enjoyed our combination of many different genres and the influences that we have, and I hope it inspires them to create whatever they want to create, cross genre boundary lines, and just do what makes them feel good.
I have to say that we are sitting at the table right beside that stage where you accepted, and it was very emotional to see you and your family up there, I have to say, and your dad. And just that people maybe aren't aware, but that blood-on-blood workings of music and art, when especially generational, it was so beautiful to see. And I tried to get your attention coming off the stage because I loved you guys so much, but you ignored me completely.
We know it didn't. I would have run the other way.
Anyways, so delightful to see you.
And thank you so much. Thank you.
Did you get everything said you wanted to say last night, like in way of acceptance?
Yeah. I know there's so many names and so many, people who have supported us, but I'm really lucky that, I have such an amazing team behind me. We're completely independent. And so all the people that I listed last night are all the people who put work into this album, and I'm really, really proud of them, and I'm so lucky to have them.
Dan, do you have a microphone in your hand?
I mean, and you said that you made this record largely like at home in your basement.
Yeah.
This was a pandemic record, I take it?
Completely in our home studio.
Yeah. Amazing. I mean, I think it's amazing that these days, I have a studio in my basement too, that, recording has become kind of democratic. Like, we don't have to rely on the big studios.
Exactly.
You can do it yourself. And, I mean, what an amazing thing to share. Were there moments where you were driving each other crazy,
No, not at all. No, we work so seamlessly.
Can I join your family?
Yeah, sure, join along.
Amazing. That's all
What's
I got.
the plan? Here's mine. How long did it take you to find your voice? To find the voice that you realized was the one you should be using, and it felt like right to be inside your body. How long did it take?
Well, I think as soon as I started performing as a musician, at age 7, as soon as I hit that
At
stage.
age 7?
I knew that this is where I wanted to be. I mean, music can connect with people on a level unlike any other. And before that, I was very introverted. Music helped grow like who I am as a person.
Yeah.
I found who I am as, you know, a non-performing musician, just as a person walking around connecting with people. Music taught me how to be me. So I wouldn't have it any other way.
And just in terms of live performance, did you have somebody that was like a mentor for you, or maybe a hero in the community that you looked up to that you thought was a really dynamic live performer, or even just somebody that you love to watch on YouTube or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different influences that I have. I play a multitude of different musicians. Sorry, I play a multitude of different instruments, and I have a lot of different genres. And so there's, you know, inspiration for every single aspect of what I do. I definitely think that one of my biggest mentors, she's been like a sister and adoptive mother to me, is one of the musicians that's actually in the house tonight, Shakira Saida. She's absolutely incredible.
And if I could, shout out for the bass players. Like, as you say, you play a zillion instruments. You choose to front the band and play upright bass. The bass player is kind of the secret boss of the band, really, and kind of the person that like interacts with the vocals the most in a way. What is it about being able to play the bass as like your lead instrument on stage that you're projecting out to everybody? Why did you go with the bass of all the different things that you could do within the band structure?
Yeah, well, I play a lot of different instruments on stage. So sometimes it's upright bass, sometimes it's electric bass, blues harmonica, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, keys sometimes. There's other instruments, but they won't fit in the tour van, you know what I mean? So, but I do a lot of different things in my songwriting. I like to tell stories. I like to have messages that, you know, reach out to people in different ways. And I really like the bass because it's very, like, it commands a different kind of movement within people. And I like to do that when we do fast-paced, engaging performances. I like the audience to be involved in the music making. And so when I'm playing so many different instruments, I don't necessarily have the hands to give people cues. But if I'm playing the bass and I'm leading the rhythm section, they can hear it and we connect in that way. And then, of course, you know, I give them cues like my foot and all this other stuff. And it's a lot of fun to do.
It's a kind of a Charlie Mingus thing. Better get it in your soul.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We'll say thank you to Angelique for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
The great Angelique Francis, a Juno Award winner, I will add. Wow, amazing. Speaking of recently minted Juno Award winners, one of the very finest in all of Turtle Island is about to grace the stage here at CKUA's live performance space. They busted onto the music scene here in Canada and the musical world in 2009 with their debut album, We Are. The founding couple behind this incredible musical unit is Shoshona Kish and Raven Kanaktakta. They've gone on to win 2 Juno Awards, a Native American Music Award, multiple Canadian Aboriginal Music Awards. Their 2022 release, A Thing of Beauty, entitled Jawanum, not only earned them a nomination for Contemporary Indigenous Artist or Group of the Year in an absolutely stacked lineup at this year's Junos. Last night across the street, they won the damn thing. They've been so generous with CKUA over the years, and they have gotten up the morning after winning a Juno Award, like the day that we spring forward on the clocks, no less, and the full darn band is on stage and ready to join us. So won't you please join me in giving a giant CKUA Junos 2023 welcome to the brilliant Digging Roots.
Miigwech, brother.
Yeah, Chimigwech. So great to be here with our CKUA family, and I just want to say Chimigwech for all of your support. We really love you guys.
Oh, hello, Shoshona. How are you?
Hey, Tom.
We got to get a bigger stage.
This one was perfect.
Are you coming over? Come on over. How are you now? You guys know each other?
Yeah, I love her. Well, I'm in love. I'm also in love with him.
Yeah.
We're all going to get along
It's a love
fine.
thing. Apparently, you're not alone. Dan, have you crossed paths with him?
We were trying to figure out. I think it was a hotel lobby some ages. I think we years ago. Yeah, and it's so cool
Yeah.
to see.
A hotel lobby.
Who'd have thought? Hey.
Yeah.
This is like the mecca for musicians, really.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
where everyone, checking in your bag, at the festival gear tent or something like that. But seeing you guys since then, the awards, and also I'm taking all your questions here.
No.
I'm so curious. I want to hear all about like how this label began and the sort of how that story because I know how hard that whole thing is, and it's you guys are just doing
and
such
how
a
important
fantastic
it is
job.
to have that
That's
on
right.
your label.
Yeah,
How important that
thanks.
is.
Thank you. Yeah, Ishkade Records was really a dream for us, and I think that maybe it would have happened at a later time, except for this pandemic that had us in our homes for all of this time, not on the road. And yeah, so it just felt like the right moment for us to like take advantage of all of this pent up energy that we had and put it towards community. And yeah.
Did you feel like there was like a void that you were filling with this? Like, was there sort of like a? I mean, I've read your the about section on the site. It's beautiful. You talk about not only enriching and uplifting Indigenous voices, but also creating like letting the artists be stakeholders in the label. Is there like a new model that's going on here, or?
Yeah, I think we didn't want to just like cut and paste music industry stuff into our space. We have our own ways of doing things. So I think we haven't figured it out perfectly, but we're definitely starting somewhere a little bit different.
You are not cut and paste people.
No. That is true. Yeah.
Hey, we had you on tour with Blackie and the Rodeo Kings.
Yeah.
I know you guys. We know each other from before, but getting to hear you every night and the message of love and the importance and the promotion of unity it opened up the hearts of so many people, and it continues to do that. And I've got you told me downstairs, we represent the important needs of our communities. You had that beautiful land back jacket on last night, and it was questioned. It was like people wanted to know in the press room what land back was, which I know to us is such a surprise. It's like, how have you been living under a rock? How do you not know about land back?
Is there a question in that?
Yeah. There is a question in there. Well, I'm not a professional interviewer, but I got the couch.
Cousin. Because we are cousins.
We are cousins.
Yeah, I think we're like fourth cousins or something. It's pretty amazing. Yeah. I think for something like land back, it's really interesting because I've seen both sides of it where people get really offended by it, and I'm like, why? Because you can just look at the amount of colonialism in this country and assimilation and oppression and genocide. And I was like, okay, take a breath, and I like land back is really when you're, it's an understanding. It's a cultural teaching. So when we're talking about land, it's not like we're going to take back all the land, because it's not about that. Like, we come from a collective people, and when you're collective, everything belongs to everybody. And the land, we don't believe that we actually own the land. We are caretakers of the land, and consequently, we belong to the land. So there's a whole shift, a cultural paradigm there that people need to get a hold of to framework it within an Indigenous context, because we are on Turtle Island.
And does music have the power? Thank you. Does music have the power to change?
Absolutely. I think, music changes me every day. It's a great teacher, and it's a great unifier. And I think that it really has the potential to transcend, the things that get in the way for us. It is its own language, and yeah. So I'm really glad that we're speaking that language together this morning.
It's so true. And even though it wasn't a question, you filled in exactly what I wanted you to fill in, was because the questions do come up. Well, it's land back, so you did it great. And I know I'm 63, and I know I look like an old biker, but I just have to talk about your earrings, Shoshona. They are absolutely fantastic.
Yes, thank you. These earrings were made by this woman, Dallas, who is part of our medicine lodge, and she's so brilliant. And she made them specially for the Junos for me. So,
Beautiful.
Yeah, I feel adorned, by my community.
That is the very first earring question we've ever had.
These earrings are
on
worth
the Juno
it.
Couch.
Yeah.
No, there was one. There was one in the nose somewhere. That was it. That was the only one. Okay. Dan, you want a microphone? There you go.
Thank you. I'm inspired by what you guys are doing, and I don't have a good question other than I think that, from the coming as a settler, I appreciate that often a message as simple as land back can be taken at face value in a very literal sense, particularly by people who are feeling maybe defensive about the past. And I think that we would all do well to, sort of approach that phrase, or it's like when we talk about defund the police or something. It's this, for me, it's like, it's not about removing it. It's about taking another look at how things have been done, and wondering, can we collectively make it better? And I don't want to speak for anyone. I think that's, for me, that's what I hear when I see those words. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and that's everything, right? Like, I just feel like my teachings say that I need to be here walking gently and making this a better place than when I arrived, and making a contribution in a meaningful way. Like, that's all of our jobs.
Last question. How did it feel like in the moment last night? What did it feel like?
Well, it was amazing for a
while.
Did
your heart burst?
Yeah. I think my heart grew 5 sizes that day.
I've often said about awards that they don't mean anything. When they call your name, it is the most exciting thing, and everyone's cheering. There's nothing like it.
But what I mean by that is that our son Sky's been on this journey with us, and my heart it grew bigger because he got to be acknowledged by the community, and when we're acknowledged by our peers, it feels like you come from someplace.
There you go.
And so for him to be welcomed into that circle was really beautiful. So I just got to be a proud dad.
A hand, please. Digging Roots. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Now, when people say, well, what is the Juno Couch? That's the Juno Couch right there. These communities all meeting on the Juno Couch. Now, those of you who might remember the history of the Juno Couch was that it started in the lobby bar at the Hotel MacDonald. They didn't know we were there. We just did it. We borrowed the couches. And then we did it at the bottom of the Space Tower in Calgary. And then we did it in front of Milestones on the street. That was fantastic. And this is the 4th. And the guy that co-hosted with me for those 3 shows was Jim Cuddy. He's playing hockey. Come on over here, man. Figure that stuff. We'll find someone else. No, never mind. It's your little... Who do you know on the couch, Sean?
Oh, hey, how are you?
Who do you know? You know Dan?
Yeah, I know Dan. I know Tom. The only time that I've met you, Tom, was on stage at Colin James' show.
Okay. At the Commodore?
At the Orpheum.
Yes, okay. I don't remember anything anymore.
Oh, man.
But you know what?
Usually in front of 2,000 people, you would remember.
That performance was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
By the way,
Thank you.
just for the record, what's the name of the song?
Good People.
Good People. And thank you. And you didn't stray far there. That's like snakes on a plane. And you co-wrote it with?
I co-wrote it with Gordie Johnson 10 days ago.
Oh, wow.
And the last hour, he put me up on his ranch with his family as their 4th child for 10 days. We made a record, and man, I'm going to cry thinking about this. No one's ever done this for me in my life. He said, are you going to go to the Junos? We need to get you a new Harpoonist record now. Yeah. I flew down, and I wrote the song on the last day, in the last 3 hours, and it came shooting out of the skies. And Digging Roots, when I saw that my family was on the gig, I was like, oh, hey, can we maybe try this? So,
well.
That's fresh. Yeah, it's fresh.
I like your band, too. I like the interplay.
Holy smokes.
Love the song.
But so, do we need nicknames for everyone else on stage now?
I know.
The axe wielding, the spear launching.
I know. The skin pulling.
But we axe murderers. You guys are on CSI. Your Harpoonist axe murderer.
Yeah.
And getting at the murdering thing.
Yes.
My joke. flying. No, anyways.
We were on like Lizzie Borden Takes an Axe. Any show that has violence in it.
By the way, on the Live of the King Eddie, also on that recording was Don Pemberton.
Oh!
Don Pemberton. So, Don, if you're out there, congratulations. Well done. Well done.
I wish Don was here last night
Yeah.
with us. But Andrina Tiren, formerly of Chic Amin, and she's here as well.
Okay.
And that's the record. Gordy's going to be the new Axe Murder, but not the Axe Murder. It's going to be Harpoonist, Big Harpoonist, Sugar. You throw it, Dan. I was leaving it for you.
Like it's all the puns.
Big Poonist. I'm gonna go there. Oh, that's terrible. Sorry, Mom.
I gotta say, there's a once a song is recorded and it's been heard and it's been cast around, that becomes like the finite thing that a song is, and from then on, people compare a live version to that recording. But there is something so special about when it's still in the ether of sort of like, we don't know what this song is, and you know what I mean? Like, that was so special, man.
Yeah,
so special.
thank you. Thanks, Dan. That means a lot.
We like the song. So, in other words, we like the song. We like the song, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Sean Hall.
Thanks.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Our next guest is a Canadian comedy legend. At last night's Juno Awards, his 2022 album, A Person Who Is Gingerbread, won the 2023 Comedy Album of the Year at the Juno Awards. He's now here to perform and chat with us. Just ahead of his performance, won't you please join me in welcoming with a giant CKUA ovation, the great, the brilliant John Doerr. Hello, John.
Do you know anybody on the couch? Anybody?
I feel like we do now. That was great. Terry, we met ages ago at a junket in New York City.
At a junket?
Yeah, you wouldn't remember it at all, but yeah.
No, because junkets
You were incredibly professional.
Thank you.
And I was just taking the opportunity for a free flight to New York. But it was like Shall We Dance was one of the movies, and then Alfie was another one.
Were you asking the questions?
I was asking questions.
Oh, you were a junketeer?
Yeah, I was
Oh, my
also,
God.
yeah. So you wouldn't remember it at all, but it was just a brief kind of, kind of in awe of Terry David Mulligan and
Thank you
asking
very much.
questions. You had notes. And
I had
was like,
notes.
wow, this guy's prepared.
Which is the highest honor I can give, is to have notes.
Yeah.
All right, here's what I need to know. This has been bugging me, driving me crazy, and it's a basic question. We kind of know how the music nominations work. You release an album, you tour, you that collective raises your profile. How in the hell do they judge the comedy awards? Is it laughs per minute?
I don't know. They shouldn't do that if that's the case.
Because sometimes it takes 3 minutes to get to that laugh.
Sure.
Right.
It depends what kind of comedian you are. Yeah.
So, and is it your peers that are judging?
I don't know. I have no
You
idea
don't
what the
wanna know.
process is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I haven't investigated the matter. I was nominated. My sister's album label, Howlin' Roar, is the company that I was with to produce the album, and it was nominated, and we were very excited. I got to hang out with my friends and be part of this great week in Edmonton, and it feels nice that the musicians welcome comedians now. It hasn't always been this case, but it's so fun. I used to be quite cynical about this whole approach. I was like, comedy shouldn't be nominated. It doesn't deserve to be part of an award show. Like, we're the cynical outsiders that will comment on your little award shows.
We can heckle and make fun.
But that's the old me.
Oh, that's it.
I couldn't be happier to be part of the fun and the party, and it was a great week. But I don't know how they judge it. Someone judged it, and someone decided, rightfully so, that I was the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Did I see your entourage come in as well?
No, I come alone. That's the other thing. Comedians were by ourselves. Yeah.
I saw some kids run in. Sorry. Did you say what you wanted to say? Did you insult anybody last night? I didn't.
Did I insult anyone last night?
Well, I mean, you had a chance.
Do you mean when I was on stage?
Yeah.
No. I'm saying that's the old me.
Oh,
I'm
I
saying
see.
I couldn't be happier to be part of the party. Yeah. No, it was a lovely experience. I thank my sister and my beautiful partner, Christina, who's back in Juneau, Alaska. See, I made the mistake one day of meeting a human woman. That's my criteria.
Love will do that.
Human and woman.
There's only.
Let's give this a go,
I
right?
saw that Juno Alaska. I said, that's love.
Yeah.
That's love.
Yeah. And so, but without her, I thanked her, because without her, I can't be on the road and I can't be here this weekend. So, that's what I did. I was in the speech. I was impressed with myself. I was very sincere and sweet. Yeah.
Now, what do you know about music? Where's your music?
What do I know about I've heard it before. I've heard it before. Yeah.
But you have a musical background. Where did you?
I have a musical background. I mean, I love music, of course. I don't know anyone who doesn't. But I played a bit of piano, a bit of guitar, saxophone for many years. But no, I'm in awe of all these people. Tom, I used to listen to and watch all the time. Actually, you performed a house show in Winnipeg once at my cousin's in-laws.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to meet you. I voted for you. Not actually for the Juno of Caris, just at our table, because we had a thing going. Carrie had a thing going that we voted for who our favorite was going to be, so I voted for you.
Oh,
so.
is that okay?
Also,
thanks.
I just wanted to say you do belong here because people don't know about the circle of abuse. And the circle of abuse is as follows. Actors want to be musicians. Musicians want to be comedians. Comedians want to be actors. Did I get it right?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I would love to be a musician, but then I see all the hard work that has to go into it, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it's just constant, and everyone's got to be healthy at the same time for the show to go on. Yes, Terry.
It appears as though your stage time is now.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was the other thing. I mean, they asked me to perform some stand-up comedy, but the difficult thing is I'm here, and I knew this would be the problem. There's so many beautiful, soulful performances that I'm in awe of. I see people in the audience being moved. And so it's very awkward to tell jokes in the middle of all this. It comes across as quite silly.
So you're going to...
Well, I prepared a song.
Oh, wonderful.
So I thought I would...
Oh!
Yeah. So is that something I should do now?
If you could do it now, we'll applaud you over there. You'll be carried by a wave of appreciation.
I appreciate it. Anyway, thanks for chatting.
Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Like I said, and I'll just repeat it again, it really is so nice to be here as a comedian at the Juno Awards. It hasn't been happening well, it's only been happening in the last few years, and we all feel very grateful, but I really do mean it. To come up here and just tell jokes would not work. Everything was just so beautiful tonight. So what I've decided to do is prepare a song, and I thought that would be the right thing to do in harmony with the other performers here today. And we live in a very interesting world now with a lot of complex intersectional identities, so I thought I would write a song, and I hope you enjoy it. It's about a homosexual Nazi. And it is called Schindler's Lisp. It needs lyrics. But other than that, a pretty great song. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
We're going to ask now some very distinguished CKUA broadcasters to come join Terry and company on the Junos Couch and have a little confabulation about the Junos of 2023.
Exactly.
So won't you please join me in welcoming the host of Tagaki, Merrick Tyler is here. Merrick? Your host of The Upload, Kate Stevens, has made the trip. Hello, Kate. Cam Hayden, celebrating 45 years as an incredible CKUA broadcaster. And somebody by the name of Dr. Holger Peterson is present as well. Hello, Holger.
Is there anyone else in the room that qualifies as a CKUA host?
Carrie. Carrie Clark. Right on.
Carrie Clark, yes!
Another one.
I knew you were in the room. All right, here's what I wanted to know. Because there's so many categories going, and this weekend is just a blur when you think about it. What one category were you keenly interested in, and why?
For me, the Indigenous categories specifically, the reason being is that we need representation at every level, on the stage, backstage, at every level. So I saw traditional representation, I saw contemporary representation. Congratulations to all of them, because Indigenous music is not a genre at all. We are everywhere. We've been here and we'll always be here. So it was great to see that. Number two, I got one more, is that I was really excited about Andrew Belfour. If you haven't seen or heard his work, Andrew Belfour, beautiful classical album. I believe he's Anishinaabe from Manitoba. It's gorgeous. So Andrew Belfour, if you're hearing this, way to go, buddy. Tagaki. It was beautiful.
Pass that mic over there, will you? What about you, Kate?
I was really excited about the traditional R&B category. I think that, Canada, we get a lot of praise for our folk and our country, especially in the prairies. I mean, it's some of the best coming out. But it was really exciting to see R&B spotlighted. I mean, The Honest Guy from Toronto has made just an absolutely fantastic record. So it was just really exciting to see that representation, and I just love the genre. I'm in love.
Cam.
Big surprise here. I was really looking forward to the blues category, and not just because I'm a blues guy, but I thought there were some really wonderful entrants in that category. Harrison Kennedy, who just turned 81, is a magnificent performer and songwriter. I was really happy to see Angelique win. I saw her perform in Drumheller last September, and she actually brought the house down on a wonderful afternoon and evening of music in the Badlands under a full moon. All of the nominees in the category were great. All I would say about the blues category is that it needs to be split, in my opinion, into more of an acoustic versus electric. It's kind of like apples and oranges sometimes, trying to pick the best out of all of the people that are involved.
A troublemaker.
I know, that's my job.
Holger.
A ditto. Really, I couldn't have put it any better. I think Cam really expressed it well. The blues category is my passion, plus the roots music categories and the diversity that we find in those categories.
Diversity.
Yeah.
Okay. Carrie, do you want to get in on this?
Sure, why not?
Sure.
I shared instrumental for a long time. I think it was punishment for something. I really like that category. And I was in our poll, our voting poll, which I could show you, it's over there. But I voted for Esmerine and they won, and that was cool. I think they didn't. No. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Anyways,
You're perfect.
Instrumental, they did, yes. And also, I love a lot of the categories, but adult alternative, that was the toughest for me because every single one of them, including Mr. Mangan, my pal, I really wanted to win. But the Sadies was a real heart winner because of Dallas. So I think that was one that I was really watching. And otherwise, my guesses were quite bad. I didn't win the poll. Neither did Tom.
It was so great to have you at our table, Carrie, because the first thing she did, she goes, "This is going to be great. Let's start a card game." You wanted to get a card game going at the table.
Now, do you have any questions of our co-hosts? You guys. Anybody want to ask these guys a question? You have a chance to talk to Dan Mangan and Tom Wilson right there.
So far at the Junos, what has been your lowest point and your highest point? Quick question, less than 20 seconds.
Mike.
Well, I mean, it's got to be the same moment. Oh, okay. And it was when the Sadies were called instead of me. Because they're an amazing band. Iconic, the kindest, sweetheartest. Love those guys. I love their team. Known them for a long time. Shared stages with them. Obviously, a tragedy that we lost Dallas. And what a great, amazing record. We've been listening to it at dinner time at home. And so I was sad for me and happy for them at the same time. Yeah.
All right, if no one has a question for Tom, I do. Okay?
I thought I had a question.
No. Do you have a... No.
I thought, wasn't that a question for me? But I'll take all the questions. I don't mind. The high point, and this is a serious one, was being one of 49 Indigenous artists nominated at the Junos. 49 Indigenous artists, which was a high point. The low point was misplacing my CBD vape last night. So different worlds, but they were related. Yeah.
All right, hand on the mic just for a second, because in the 90 seconds that we have left,
yes,
I'm going to ask you the question I said I was going to ask you.
Oh no!
What are you up to lately?
Oh,
just take a deep breath and tell us, because then it'll save me a lot of time.
Okay, go. I'm writing my second book for Penguin Random House. Yeah. The first book got turned into a movie. We're out promoting that. I just wrote a play that's being produced, and it opens in the spring of 24.
A musical?
A musical, yeah. And musical directors come from away, so that's pretty exciting. Daniel Lanois and Tara Lightfoot are joining Blackie and the Rodeo Kings this summer to do shows, but they might say that Blackie and the Rodeo Kings are joining Tara Lightfoot and Daniel Lanois. We haven't straightened that part out at all. I don't know, Alan, what else am I, Margot, what else am I doing?
You got a book?
I'm writing a new book. I got a book on my art coming out, and I have a residential school exhibition that opened at Stratford last year that is going to Queen's University in Tyndonega.
Thank you. Time's up.
Okay, good.
Thank you very much. Wow.
Ooh, how about it for the assembled panel on the
How
Juno
about this?
Couches?
This is really cool.
Wow. And how about it for live music and for the amazing musicians that have come here to join us? We're so excited to turn over the stage next to an incredible artist. In fact, somebody that's been holding sway over CKUA's top 30 music chart ever since her wonderful record came out. And the triumphant follow-up from 2022, Hold On to Love, which has just been an absolute juggernaut of joy and energy. And you've heard it crackling across CKUA's airwaves a ton. And it was nominated for Contemporary Roots Album of the Year at this year's Juno Awards. Please give it up for the wondrous, joined by the brilliant Donna Grantis on guitar. How about it for the legend, Shakura Saida?
Wait, don't make it deep. Don't make it deep. Please don't make it deep.
But I do want to ask you about Hold On to Love, because it's some title just come and go. That one stuck with me before I even knew about the lyrics. I just thought, okay, well, what set that song in motion for you?
I have 2 daughters, and at that time they were in school. One was in high school, one was in elementary, and they were going through a difficult time, both of them. And everything seems so big in the moment. Everything seems insurmountable. But there's this thing about knowing that you are surrounded by love, even when the people that you love are not next to you. That was really important for me. I wanted my kids to understand that I am always with them. Their grandparents are always with them. The people who love them are always with them. And if they hold on to that, they can get through anything. And I think that we as a community need to do that more. We need to make sure that the people around us, the people in need, the people who are traveling through this world thinking that they are alone, they need to know that they are loved. And it was really important for us to get that message out there.
You've taken on the job, I have to tell you, not only through your inspirational performances, of doing the most important thing that we can do as artists, which is open up the door of possibilities to the people around us and make other people believe in themselves. That's not a question. That's just a giant thank you to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Speaking of people, there's a lot of people on this record. Can you talk about?
Oh my God, talk about Richard Flowhill is on this album.
Yes!
Richard
Yes!
Flowhill!
Richard
The
Flowhill!
flow. Yeah, it's the first time he's ever been in the studio, ever been asked to be on someone's album. I couldn't believe that. We've been keeping him out for years, and yet I open the gates. He's like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't know how to do this. Just talk. What do you mean? Do I talk into the microphone? And they just went, heart of gold. Yeah.
Will we see you at festivals on the road this year? What does it look like for you?
I will be standing on the street corner begging for money.
Okay, I know you.
Please drop by Alunia too. Yeah, I've got some festivals that I'm doing. I'm doing a lot of collab work. One of the things that I learned during COVID was the power of using your community and being used by your community. Yep. So I'm going to Sweden next month with Terry O'Dabi and Anika Chambers. I'm going back to Sweden in October with Lady A and Terry O'Dabi. Doing some work with Kevin Burke later this month, who's out of the States. A lot of collabing, yeah.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for your music.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that was amazing. How about it one more time for these incredible musicians and everybody that's taken the time to come and share their gifts with us today. It's been phenomenal. And their story, we're about to welcome in an incredible musician who's been building a remarkable discography over the course of 6 albums and counting, and is just so incredibly insightful, ever curious, and full of musical and societal possibility in her music. Her latest album is How Is It That I Should Look at the Stars, and it's earned The Weather Station a nomination for Adult Alternative Album of the Year and a stacked field at the 2023 Juno Awards. We're so thrilled to have her join us here in this place for a chat today. Please make some noise for the brilliant Tamara Lindman of The Weather Station. the weather station.
Hello.
Hello.
Do you have friends on this couch? These couches?
I do. Yeah, I
We
do.
shared a table last night.
That's true. Yes.
Have you shared a stage?
Yeah, in Europe.
That's right, yeah.
Ages ago. Yeah, wow, long time
forgot
ago.
about that,
Yeah,
yeah.
and your record has been spent a lot of time in our home, actually. Yeah. Your records, I should say.
That's nice to know.
Tell me about last night. How was your last night?
It was lovely. Appreciate something about the Junos, which is always unexpected, where when I'm there and there's all the different genres of music, I'm reminded of how huge Canada is and how much different music there is outside of my scene. And I always appreciate that.
There was a time many years ago when the Junos were just getting started, and they they said, we need managers, we need agents, we need labels, our own label. We need our own industry, our infrastructure. We don't have the infrastructure. What you see now with the Junos is the infrastructure at work. We built the industry a year at a time, and it's incredibly fascinating to watch it grow. And where will it keep growing to, and how will we add to it? That's what I like most about the Junos is seeing the, as you say, the width of the portfolio.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah.
You know, I love. We've worked together a little bit. My question is, can we sing together soon?
Sure.
Okay,
of
good.
course, yeah.
Okay, I have your number. I'll give you a call, probably around April. But I would love. I'd love us to try something together.
Sure.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay, that was my question.
I wanted to ask.
Are we talking co-writing, and who's doing the harmonies?
Oh, I'm not a very good harmony singer, so. Oh yeah. Okay. Actually, what are you two doing? Also,
I'm in, man.
I think we've got a new band going. I don't know how the money's going to be split up, but you know what? We'll figure that out. Yeah.
I just want to ask. You've written so eloquently about both in articles and in your music about the sort of existential climate crisis that we face. And I don't know if you meant to do this, but you kind of became a bit of like the go-to artist journalists would reach out to and talk to when they needed to respond to a new UN study or something like that. That sounds terrifying to me. As an artist, to all of a sudden now to be like sort of a voice of reason on this big, huge, complicated topic, I can't imagine what kind of burden that was. I wonder if you had comments or something to say about that experience. Was it tough?
That's a really thoughtful question. Nobody's ever asked me that.
Well done.
Thank you. It was really tough, actually. It was really tough. I was really grateful because when I started out, I kind of felt like I wanted to be a part of the sort of movement of like ending climate silence. So I felt really proud that I was able to bring the conversation into all of these spaces where it hadn't been mentioned, like music and like Exclaim and like Pitchfork. And so I felt really happy at first, but then it was, it felt like a ton of responsibility. And every time I did an interview or spoke about it, I did so much research and thought of like, how can I not perpetuate negative narratives that I think have been perpetuated for far too long? How can I be honest? How can I break down this idea? There's so many ideas that I want to break down in that field. And among them, this idea that if you stand up and say, I care about not having this happen, which should be something anyone can say.
Should be base level.
That should be base level, but people think it's like, oh, you care about climate. You must be perfect.
You're the climate person.
You are great. You are good. There's all of this strange projection that comes up, and I just think it's so strange because we all care, and I know that. I even know, people who work in Fort McMurray, they care too. Nobody, and yet it's almost like taboo to say it, because if you start talking about it, people have all of this baggage and all of these agendas. So I really wanted to just be a regular person and almost kind of be really honest about like just being like, I'm really scared. I don't know what to think about it. Sometimes I really struggle with this. But it was still hard to kind of have all that projection of like, you are a perfect person. And I'm like, I'm not.
Not very. I have a question for both of you, and that is, and I asked it previously, but it applies to both of you. The power of music to change, to make change, even small changes, even to keep the ball rolling forward? What do you believe in?
What do I believe in?
Well, I mean, do you believe that the music can make those changes? Do we ask too much of it?
Well, I mean, as I said, my mother was an activist. My mother went down to Greensboro, North Carolina, and she was one of the young people who was recruited by the Greensboro Four, and they sat in Woolworths and in front of McDonald's and picketed for rights. And while they sat and stood and were dragged off to jail, they sang spirituals and they sang protest music, and they kept each other alive and encouraged and strengthened by singing, you know, Jail Over Bail and, you know, We Ain't Gonna Move, you know, the songs like that. So as far as I'm concerned, my ancestors survived. I am here because of the power of music. Yep. You know, field songs, gospel music, blues music, all of those musics that actually strengthened us and allowed us to make space for ourselves so that we could actually be in this earth, or be on this earth and be in this continent, you know.
Freedom train. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think music has incredible power just for being human. I think we need it. I think we need it to connect to each other and to ourselves. And I think music is a conduit for us to feel our emotions, which I think in such a disconnected world is like something we desperately need. But I do think sometimes when it comes to something like the climate crisis, it is almost like too much pressure is put on artists or music. And I think sometimes I can feel a little frustrated when, you know, entities want to interview me or something. And you're like, I'm just writing songs, you know, like if you're in the government, you have actual power to actually do something that we, you know, it's like we need legislation. We don't need, you know, that's what we need. But of course, you know, music also has that power, and it, you know, like we need it. We're humans and we need it.
I think it kind of fill in the gaps. Like language fails us sometimes, or like
True.
social context, or, you know, it's like you get tongue-tied, the thing you want to say, but you can't get it out. And language is always failing us, or at least failing me. And I feel like sometimes a chord change it's like there's all these gaps between us, and it can kind of be like the glue that fills it in. And if you can stand with thousands of people in front of a festival stage and sort of feel a similar emotion, then you feel more empathy, you feel more united, and then you walk away from that, and then you have like more fuel to go and actually make those policy changes because you have felt like there is something worth making the policy changes for.
That's
if
true.
That makes,
yeah.
You know,
I like that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
You didn't ask me, but I had an opinion.
No, I'm glad you had a mic in your hand. Thank you for being here on the Juno Couch.
Thank you.
Grant,
Terry,
let's send them off.
How about it for all these amazing people? Isn't this incredible? Wow.
Thank you.
I'm grinning through tears after that. So thrilled to welcome back great friends of Terry David Mulligan's and amazingly gifted musicians to share some music with us. These are Mark Jordan and Amy Skye. Please make them feel welcome.
It's great to be here, and you know, part of the reason that we have been together for 35 years now is that we, to date, have not done a duet album together. So happy to say we made it. And
the end can't be far.
No, I think we're in the safe place now.
Hey, you kids, come on over. Come on over to the couch. By the way, as a great segue from Mark and Amy, we're going to a hockey rink. We're going to go to the Juno Cup. The Juno Cup. Jim Cuddy is hosting this for Music Count. Oh, there you are.
I'm here. Yes, sir.
Mark Jordan says he's wearing the Juno Cup. Is the game done?
The game is done, yes. It was a 4-3 or 5-4? 4-3 victory for musicians.
But
I know you're shocked.
But really, the big winner on the end of the day is Music Counts.
You know what? Music Counts. It permeates the whole Junos. It's fantastic. There's a Music Counts award on the gala night. This event, lots of people are beginning to give out an ambassadorial award to Kevin Drew last night for programs that he started. Yeah. So it's amazing how far Music Counts has come in the time that we've been doing this, and it's very gratifying because you know there's never there's never, the need never goes down. The number of schools keeps going up that need their instruments. Anyway, you're right. It's great.
Okay.
Thank you, Jim. Jim came up to me last night and said, kind of like across the room, it seemed like, to tell me that he enjoyed my performance on the CBC Debaters. And I was very appreciative. I noticed that it wasn't about my songs that he mentioned, but I repeated that story to 2 or 3 people afterwards. I was so charmed, and you're such a sweetheart, Jim. Thank you so much.
Well, everybody says I'm not really a nice guy because I honestly thought that the song you played at the end was kind of cheating.
Yeah, it was.
I thought you won with a song, and that's not fair. That is something in your arsenal that the others don't have.
Tilting the table in my favor, yeah.
James, I want to thank you for doing this. I want to thank you for being part of the 4th annual Juno Couch.
Oh, I think it was great. Thank you for, I know it was probably difficult to get all this done, but thank you very much for doing this one. And
we'll
bye
see,
to everybody there.
We'll see you on the road. Jim Cuddy, ladies and gentlemen. James Cuddy.
So long. Bye-bye.
Okay. I know I promise I'm running out of time. I just want to know, you released a single. When does that album come out?
When does it come out? April 21st.
April 21st. What's it called?
Wait for the Sun.
Okay. Thank you, both of you. Because now I want to thank Dan Mangan. I want to thank Grant. I want to thank Vish. I want to thank everybody. The thank you list goes on forever, but I want to start right here with the one and only Tom Wilson, who stepped forward and said, yeah, let's do this. And he's got a song to take us out.
But when we get on the Grand River, oh, mama, we won't look back. When we get on the Grand River, oh, mama, we won't look back.
How about it for the amazing Tom Wilson, everybody? In fact, a member of the very group that christened this live performance space with the very ever first live performance here was by Blackie and the Rodeo Kings with Mr. Tom Wilson. Thank you, Tom. Wow.
Can I say thank yous?
Please.
Thank you. First of all, the 2 guys, I got to tell you, I saw them doing it. The 2 guys that were the couch wranglers were Brendan Cross and Scott Zeildorf. Thank you, Brendan. Thank you, Scott, for doing that, wherever you are. Alex Hall. Yeah. Cam Hayden, Laurie Iverson, Vish Khanna, Adam Mitchell, Holger Peterson, Megan Bruce, Rod Setter. Hey, Rod. Kate Stevens, Grant Stovall, Merrick Tyler, Mike Brazo, Andrew Radcliffe, Greg Wright, Eric Kozlowiecz. Oh, never mind. 3 camera operators. Thank you, camera operators. Nice work. Dan Mangan, Angelique Francis, Diggin Roots, Sean Hall, John Doerr, Shakira Saeda, The Weather Station, Mark Jordan and Amy Sky, Tom Wilson.
And the one and only Terry David Mulligan.
Thank you.
Once again, my thanks to the great Tom Wilson from Blackie and the Rodeo Kings. Dan Mangan from his own solo career. Both of them doing really well, very busy. The artists Angelique Francis, Diggin Roots, Sean Hall, hanging with Diggin Roots and bringing a great song to us. John Doerr, funny, won the comedy Juno. Shakira Saeda, The Weather Station, Mark Jordan, Amy Sky, and Tom Wilson. And the CKUA hosts who joined me on the couch, Holger Peterson, Kate Stevens, Merrick Tyler, Cam Hayden, and Kerry Clark. Somewhere close by was Darcy Whiteside, but I didn't get to see him. My thanks to the crew, Mike and Andrew, Greg, Eric. There are 3 camera operators. Our volunteers are James Fraser, Matt Letty, Ryan, Brent Cross, Alex Hall, Cam Hayden, Laurie Avison, Vish Khanna, Adam Mitchell, Holger Peterson, Megan Bruce, Rod Setter, Kate Stevens, Grant Stovall, Merrick Tyler, Scott Zeildorf. I can't thank him enough. Thank you, everyone. See you next year.